This is Kent Meyer from Traditions Law with our September vlog. And I think we have a topic today that will interest many of you. Most of you are familiar with probate. You hear about it, you say it's really an awful process, it's expensive, time-consuming, and nerve-wracking for many people. So what I'm going to talk about today are some ways to avoid probate. And I'm going to give you 4 options. Now the article only has 3, but I'm going to add a 4th. Okay, so how can I avoid probate? Well, one way, of course, is that you can give away your property to your beneficiaries before your death. That, of course, removes it from probate. The problem there is that you've lost control of the asset. And what happens if circumstances change and you need additional liquidity, you need additional assets, but they're gone? That can create a problem. So gifting property is not particularly a good way to go to avoid probate. A second way is to designate a beneficiary. And you're all familiar with life insurance. You designate a beneficiary of a life insurance policy, the proceeds avoid probate. They're not included in your estate. You can also designate beneficiaries for retirement plans and annuities in the same way. There can be some problems with that also, however. If a beneficiary happens to die or predecease you, and you haven't made a change in a policy or in a plan, then it will go back into your estate anyway and have to go through probate. And we've seen cases like that where you have a client that'll come in, they haven't made that designation change, and now they're having to go through the probate process. So designating a beneficiary isn't always the best way. Another option is to own property jointly. So you can bring in a joint tenant with you in ownership of the property. Upon your death, the property automatically goes to the other joint tenant, and so there is no probate there. Problem, though, is that when you bring in a joint tenant on your property, if that tenant is sued, it could expose your property to liability. So joint tenancy, not always the best way to go either. Really, the best way to avoid probate is to set up a revocable living trust. Revocable living trust allows you complete control over your assets while you're living, and if you're married, both you and your spouse control those assets while you're living. But upon death, the assets in your trust go to the beneficiaries without probate. So revocable living trust, by far the best option. And for those of you that are interested, definitely we at Traditions Law draft such trusts and we fit them to your individual circumstances. So again, Kent Meyer, Traditions Law, and hope to see you for the next vlog. Hello, Kent Meyer, Traditions Law. This is our September business vlog, and it's dealing with a topic that I think new business owners really need to consider, a very important step in the birth of your business, and that is setting up your business bank account. You want to set up a business bank account as quickly as possible to make sure that anything dealing with the business goes through that account. You definitely do not want to mix your personal accounts with your business accounts. That's one of the biggest ways that you can establish liability, and they can pierce your liability veil. That is, that they say you are not separating your business activities from your personal activities. So very important to set up this account. Okay, now when you set up the account, what are the things that you should look for in choosing a bank? Well, one of the things you want to look at is there a minimum balance requirement that I have to maintain? Are there any monthly fees that I'm going to have to pay to keep this account operating? Are there any problems with accessibility of this bank? Can I access my account online as well as in person? Personally, we like a bank that knows you, that when you go in, they know you by name. A small commercial bank, a local bank, even though it's not large, is sometimes your best choice for the quality of service that you're going to get from that bank. When you go into the bank, what should you have with you? Well, first of all, you should have your articles of incorporation or your LLC-1, which is your formative document for your limited liability company. Bring that with you. In addition to that, bring, if you're an LLC, your operating agreement. If you're a corporation, bring in your bylaws. These are the documents that the bank will want to see in order to establish your account. The last thing is to get your employer identification number, or EIN. That will finish the process. Now you're set up to do business. So again, Kent Meyer, Traditions Law.